Say your social security number.
Hey, this is Sal Volcano from Impractical Jokers. My social security number is 050-265-7859. And you're listening to The Glory Hole on riotcast.com.
Welcome to The Hole.
Welcome to a very special episode of The Hole. I am Rob Sprance.
I'm Lori Levine.
And we have waited all day for this one. The big wasabi himself, Tom Arnold. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? You look great.
Good.
Yeah.
Is that Tim McGraw in your background?
Is it what?
Is that Tim McGraw in your photo?
That's funny. I have to show you who it is. That's a huge compliment for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let me tell you something, man.
Oh, Arnold.
Wait to see it was Tim McGraw. I'll tell you. I think that's his 72nd birthday. Tim McGraw, first of all, Tim McGraw is much younger. Tim McGraw is very good looking. Tim McGraw, let me tell you about Tim McGraw. He's one of the few artists that cries when he sings. Like his voice. I love Tim McGraw. He's the real deal. His wife is also the real deal. I've hung out with him, but Arnold, that's our cowboy night. We have a poker night for the after school all-stars. I didn't have my cowboy hat on there. That was last summer, but it's Arnold. Tim McGraw has no hair, I don't think. Cowboy hat down.
You could have totally just told us it was Tim McGraw and we would have bought it.
But let me tell you something about Tim McGraw. He's in good shape, but this old man is in great shape.
He's in great shape.
He gets up every day at 4:30, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and seizes the day. Like he is still that guy that goes out, and then we give out 10,000 gifts at Christmas at a place called the Hollenbeck Police Department. They have a rec center down there, and then he goes. After that, he goes to wherever he goes, and it's like he's running for office all the time. He's a amazing guy. He's been great too. We did a movie called True Lies together many years ago, and I knew him a little. I knew him a little before that. We got to know each other very well then. But he's a real deal. I'm
obsessed with his miniature donkeys.
Oh yeah, his miniature donkey bit my son's in there asleep. I hope bit Jax's hand. He's got a little. Arnold has a little stable behind his house there.
Yeah, I see him petting the donkeys all the time over there.
Yeah, he pets the donkeys, all right. But Jax had a carrot he was feeding. I said, don't put your hand too far in there, because first of all, I grew up in a farm in Iowa. And if you got miniature animals, that means they've been bred that way, and that means they're probably mean because they're a little. Anytime you breed an animal the wrong way, they're a little messed up. And Jack stuck his full hand in there to clamp down a little bit. Ooh. I have to find that video. Arnold's not putting that one up, but it scared him, but it was fine. They're very cute, those animals. They're very cute.
That's awesome. Well, so you mentioned, and I like how you just, we did a movie, True Lies. There's so much.
I'm not sure if you heard of it.
Like I feel like I could do 7 hours with you, but I only have an hour. So there's so much to cover. But the main thing right now is you're working on. You have a podcast that you do with Sasha, who is your assistant, and she's also a comic. And just in what I see and what I've heard from the podcast alone, she's also puts up with quite a bit as well. I'm sure, she the one good thing I'm noticing, even in the episodes that I listen to, is that she does call you out when you need to be called out on. I do know.
She sleeps on the couch here. We have my 4-year-old daughter is right there asleep, and my son is sleeping on Sasha's bed, which is the couch right now. She's part of our family. Are you right there? Yeah. She's like she's wonderful. We love her. I love her. She's younger than me. She's a different generation. She, I don't even, what's great about the podcast is we genuinely talk about, life, and her experiences are so different. And we have honest conversations. We have in the bathroom over here, we have and it's fun because, her world is so different than my world. I have a lot of experience, and I like to share that with somebody that doesn't have any idea what I'm talking about.
And I've heard that a couple of times. You've given a relationship advice after 4 divorces. You've there's definitely some.
Let me tell you something. I give that. That's why. Yeah, if you've never been divorced, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to me. If you've been happily married for 50 years, seriously, what do you know about? You've been, God bless you right there. But if you've been divorced 4 times, you know a lot about relationships because you know the side how they go. But if it's been perfect for you, you married your high school sweetheart, you really don't know much except maybe you know this. Just you got lucky. You're with a person that's an adult. A person that's not crazy or that has your back. That's your friend. You got lucky right there. A person that doesn't break the big rules, that you don't break the big rules, that maybe you're not an asshole, that the grass isn't greener. Those are the things you got to, that probably has a good family. Mm-hmm. That's what, but not everybody has that. So you got to know what to look for. You got to also know what you deserve, and that's what I'm teaching old Boggs here.
And is she receptive to this?
My 7-year-old son is also her best friend. So it's not like she listens to him as much as she does me. So, it's kind of, but she's, she's a wonderful, she's a serious person. I want her to know that, and she should be respected as such. And,
I know, like, and you're a single dad, raising the kids, and you were raised by your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your father raised you, right?
Well, you know what, I was, and I always thought we always thought our dad was boring. And then you get here, and Sasha will tell you, she's been witness to a lot of nonsense from, but my dad was 22. I was 4, my sister was 3, my brother was 1. And that, I'm blessed to be older and, a little more established, as it were. My daughter's 4.5, my son's 7. And I can't imagine, and it's exhausting. Sasha, we went on a vacation for 10 days and drove down to Palm Springs where my kids love it. First time I've ever taken anyone with us. Sasha went. And even with the 2 of us, it was exhausting. And so I imagine my dad, now that I think about it, that was a lot. My parents were 18 and 16 when they got married. And so my dad, I have a lot of moments where I think about him like, wow, he did have a lot on his plate. So, but I also know that a man can do it, and that it's a big decision of the last 3 years or so. It's been all about these kids. And it's also what I always wanted. I've always said, I really want to be a father. A lot of people say that, and thank God it's true, because it is all encompassing, and it is not about me anymore. And it is, it's a big job. And sometimes I'll go at night after all this nonsense and fighting out the nonsense, and I'll go, I hope these kids know how much I say it to myself, how much I sacrifice it. And then I think I'm an asshole because of course you do that. Of course you do everything. That's what they deserve. That's what being a parent is about. So, but I'm grateful to have Sasha Boggs here, part of the team, and I'm grateful to the people that have come through our lives and helped out. And, where the kids are, they say it goes by in a second, in a flash. It really doesn't. A lot of times it's like click, click, click with these guys. I have fixed up. I have gotten in the most beautiful rooms in this house. I designed, Boggs helped a little bit, but they got Murphy beds and the beautiful pink what are those things that the horns that come out of their heads? Sasha, the horn. Yeah, yeah. That's what Quinn is. Unicorn. And Jax collects these elves. He collects these dolls. Whatever. The elf room, and they still sleep in my room. Like for the last 4 years, I guess forever. I guess that's what it means. We slept in the same beds. They have wonderful bedrooms, and one of these days they will sleep in them. I think they're plenty about it, but it'll also be probably the saddest day ever. Because I remember when Jack said when I was taking him to his last year of preschool, and I got out of the car to walk him up, and he's like, "No, I got it." And because I always complain, why do I have to walk you all the way up there? Now I have to take little Quinny over here, and the first day he's like, "No, you don't have to walk me up there today." And I pulled the car over by the bushes, and not that I wept, but I had to take a moment because,
sure,
using a kid whose butt I still wipe once in a while, but I don't know that he didn't want his friends to see me anymore or whatever it was, but it's a great thing. But I also am that dad that, I go to all the stuff. I enjoy it, Now,
do you think because you grew up with just your dad, do you think that's part of why you went into stand-up and into comedy in the beginning? Because you're all encompassing now. Like you're an actor. Your appearances are almost as good as anything else that you've done. Like you're a great guest. You have a lot of energy, but a lot of people don't know you started as a stand-up, right? Almost, I won't use prop comic, but that's kind of what you were doing, right? You had a bit very similar to that.
Well, when we were young, my dad did work a lot, and he had to do a lot of different things. He worked in a factory, and we came home at night. We'd be upstairs, and the only time we really heard our dad laugh was when there was a Bob Hope special. And Bob Hope was this comedian. He used to have, places like Iowa. Billy Graham and Bob Hope. Billy Graham was this religious guy. My mom was Jewish, and my dad was whatever. But Billy Graham would come around and have these huge revivals, very popular. And then Bob Hope was a comedian, and when there was a Bob Hope special on, time stopped for people like my dad. And my dad we could hear him guffawing upstairs, and I was like, "What is that?" And my brother said, "That's Bob Hope. What does he do? He is a comedian." And so I just to make my dad said, "Well, that's what I'm going to do, whatever it is, because I'm not going to be Billy Graham. I want to do what Bob Hope does."
You chose
to make dad. Yeah, and although Billy Graham was pretty cool. Billy Graham had long hair, and the women all wanted to fuck him where I lived from. They're like, "Fucking Billy Graham." And he came to Iowa. People were like, "Yeah, let me get up there." It's like Elvis. And so, but I thought about that, and in high school, and I did these competitions, and did the same thing in college, and then when I got to the University of Iowa, I worked 3 years on the kill floor of the Hormel meat packing plant to save money to go to college, and I knew there was a student union there with a stage, open mic night, and I got there and I did comedy, well, a version of comedy, and somebody said real comedians from Minneapolis had come down, and I opened up for them, and I had all my drunken crazy friends, and we drank Everclear Punch, which is Everclear and powdered Gatorade, and so they laughed, and I of course my Uncle Phil did it. It's terrible, but then all my friends left with me, and the guy that from Minneapolis that had a club, I think it was a Comedy Cabaret, he said, "Hey, next time, get your friends to stay for us, and I'll give you a job in Minneapolis at the Comedy Cabaret." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I will do that." And so next time, my friends all stayed, and then when they went back to Minneapolis, those guys, I started thinking, well, I got to get up to Minneapolis because I got a job, guys. So I got a trash bag and had $100 and got on the bus because I had no driver's license or car because of my I've been a habitual violator. Been arrested 7 times. I had a bad record for fighting with the police, and this is back when they pulled guns on and beat up white guys. That's how it worked, because there were no black guys.
That was a long time ago.
And but my stepfather was the chief of police, and he hated me. But so I get up there to the club. I get off the bus. I go to the club. Scott Novotny was the guy's name. I said, "Hey, I'm here, and I got to live somewhere close by because I got no car, and it's got to be reasonably pricey." He's like, "Oh my God, you moved here? I bet you have a job at this club for one weekend for $17." And I said, "Well, shoot." And I went to a bar. There was a Wiz Pub was close by that place, and it had 120 beers from all over the world. And I walked in there, and a waitress that was working there, very nice gal, and she was looking for a roommate. And then I got a job as a bouncer there immediately, and I worked there for a long time. And they had a bunch of open mic nights in Minneapolis. They had 5 clubs, and I just slowly. Minneapolis was a great place to be in 1983. And then I met Roseanne there. She came pretty quickly after that. She was a comic in Denver.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. So she just comes to one of the shows, and so
she was the headliner, and I was her middle act. And the guy at another club, Scott Hansen from the Comedy Gallery, said, "Hey, I met this comedian in Denver. You guys are gonna hit it off. You guys have a lot in common." And so I want you to be her middle act, and she came, and we did, and we became fast friends, and I really loved her act. I thought I never seen anybody like her. She was she was older than me, but she was like a mom. She was tough, and somebody was heckling her and unplugged her mic, and then I got it. She could have gotten it in their face, obviously, but I did, and then we ended up borrowing Liz Winstead, the MC, who I think she created The Daily Show or co-created whatever show Craig Kilborn was on, and I don't know who hosts it now. She co-created that, and we borrowed her car, and then never came back for like 3 days of partying. And
so that's the first time you meet her. You already go on a 3-day bender with her.
Yeah, and
was she married at the time? Was she married?
Well, she was. Yeah, but that was fine. I liked her husband, and it was fine. And she was 7 years older, and I liked that she was a mother. I thought that's cool. And I came from a meat packing plant, and she was a feminist, and I wasn't even sure what that was, but she was so different. And so we partied. It's like she was my friend, and he said, "Will you write jokes for me?" And I did. And then in 1985, she went on the Johnny Carson show. We were watching it back from my apartment with 6 guys, and she did a couple of the jokes I'd written, and I was like, "Oh my God, my friend is going to be such a big star." And then she got an HBO special in 1987 and asked me to play her husband on it. Wow. And her real husband was also her husband.
And at the time, the HBO special was like the thing comic. Like that was it. That was the bigger than doing the Tonight Show. If you got a special on HBO, like that was definitely a rocket ship to getting yourself on.
Nothing was bigger than doing the Tonight Show. If Johnny Carson, like he did with her, had her come and sit down because
she sat on the couch.
Yeah, he loved her, and then she had if he liked you and had you sit down, you had it's $100 million show or whatever, like Seinfeld, and she was that good, and so then she had HBO special. Then I was going out to the Comedy Store and doing that was a good time to be going out to the Comedy Store. And I came down to Catch a Rising Star and auditioned for Robert Morton for Letterman because my prop act, my Goldfish review I had live Goldfish. I was a little different, and I almost got a Letterman. I almost got a Letterman when I was in college because of that weird act, which I might be going off a little bit, but Joel Hodgson was a great prop comedian. Joel Hodgson. He created Mystery Science Theater 2000, I believe it's called. And he was from Minneapolis, and he'd been on Saturday Night Live and Letterman, and he's so funny. He's very esoteric, and he spoke kind of slow, and he had the best props. He's a genius, Joel Hodgson. He quit doing stand-up comedy because he got a little screwed up on the road, but he's a brilliant writer, brilliant mind, and he stayed with me when he came to Iowa City to perform. But it stayed with me, and I opened for him at the Student Union, and we talked a lot. And he said, to be a comedian, you got to be different, and you got to have something different. And I was looking around my room. He was sleeping in my room with me, and I saw my goldfish there, and I was like, yeah, I will be the goldfish guy. I had some goldfish there on the. Right after the next week, I was the guy with the goldfish. They got them out of the thing and to do tricks and stunts, and
what kind of tricks can you do with a goldfish?
Well, one did an impression of the Pope. One was a sword swallower, and then I got this test on fire, and one strangled through it, and which which was fire. Which then became a problem. And then people eventually were like, "Oh my God, why you're hurting the goldfish?" And But what I did was I stole Joel Hodgson's cadence. So when I moved to Minneapolis, Joel Hodgson came to see me, and he goes, "Oh my God." People are like, "You got to see this guy. He reminds me of you." And Joel's like, "No, he is me." I didn't know any better. And another thing I do is the guys in Minneapolis would come down, and I go, "I love that joke. I'm going to do it next week." And they said, "Oh no, you have to write original jokes." I go, "Do I?" I love the Richard Pryor jokes I was doing, and
you would go up and do Richard Pryor's bits, Zach?
Well, yeah. When I first started, I was like, "That's all." In Iowa, where we grew up, and on farms and stuff, we worshiped like. We would go bale, we bale hay. That's how we grew up. And then if a Richard Pryor album came out, it was such a big thing. Everybody would come in. I grew up on a 2,500 acre farm, and people would come, and the Amish kids, this is the truth. The Amish kids that worked with us, people would come, and it'd be like at the drive-in. We had a drive-in in our town. Everybody come in, somebody would get that album. And we'd set up, and we had big speakers and set it on the back of the wagon, the hay wagon, and it'd be a big deal at the end of work, and the sun would be going down. All of us would sit there, maybe 50 of us would be invited. There'd be booze, there'd be kegs. Everybody come in there in the field, and the boss would let us do this, or my dad, or whoever, and the people would be invited, and the album would be on top of the speakers, and it'd be, nobody's ever heard this, be the new Richard Pryor thing. It'd be lit up, and we'd all sit there and listen to the full album 2 or 3 times in a row, because we worshiped like Richard Pryor was our God.
Yeah, he was the best.
The variety of people, like I say, the Amish people, everybody that was a worker, a factory worker, a farm worker. When we heard, oh my God, he's got an album. It was sort of a private club, and you would think that this group of people would be burning crosses, perhaps, but man, it was such a, and to get in, to be able to meet that guy, with Roseanne when she first met him and stuff, and so of course I was going to do his jokes because I didn't know, but one of the first things I did in Hollywood was a Bob Hope special. Roseanne and I did 1988, and I had tights on. I think he was Robin Hood, Bob Hope. So we called. I wonder if the picture's up here, but he called my dad. Of course, he's the nicest guy in the world. And
that's what I was gonna say. That must have been a good moment for you to be like, "Hey, Dad, look at me."
Well, yeah, that was it. I'd reached all my goals. It was all downhill, but. I had to think, like, I watched my dad watching Bob Hope. I'd be on the stairs watching my dad laughing, saying to myself, I'm going to be on that TV with Bob Hope. And my dad's going to laugh at me and Bob Hope. And I made that happen. He was still in that house watching TV. And now he saw me at Bob Hope. And that's magic.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of magic that we can do, because we can do anything we want. And when we're a kid and we say, I'm going to make that happen for my dad, you know, it's an impossible thing, but of course it's possible. And, you know, us people who are entertainers, who are, you know, I didn't have any doubt I could do it then. And it's crazy, but it did happen. And I don't know what to, you know.
That's awesome. So at what point do
you the internet, you could like do Richard Pryor jokes like that. Now everything's fucked up. Can't even steal other people's stuff. Learn how to do it.
People still, I think people probably still do. Well, it's bad, you know. I think everybody's, you know, there's so many different kinds of comedy now, though. You know, and you're sort of a, you know, people are their own characters, and you know, people do complain about being fucked up a lot, though.
But how do you wind up on? So Roseanne gets the show. Are you a writer right away on the show?
Yeah, well, Martha's going to be the husband, according to her.
So even from the beginning,
I came out. I didn't know how to act, so I came out with Darcy Warner, and she's like, the people who did Cosby are doing my show. I go, oh shit, I don't know how to act. She goes, oh, it's fine. And I came out and read for them, because the husband, if you look at John Goodman and you look at me, you go, well, you know. And so I just knew, I knew I was going to be a writer. I was like, oh, okay, just do it. You know, I came out and met with them, and they humored me, but I was like, yeah, this is. And then I heard John Goodman was interested. I was like, oh, he's great.
Yeah,
he's great. He's from Missouri. I'm from Iowa. He's amazing. I said, you know, that's what you want to do there. And Laurie Metcalf was. I mean, everybody on that show was so good. I wanted to write, because I did her, you know, character for so long, and so I got to write a lot of Ottumwa, Iowa stuff into the show, because Rosie was from Denver and also from Utah, Salt Lake City, so she really wasn't from the Midwest, like the loose meat sandwich stuff and real. So you know, I'm plenty lucky. So John was a great actor. So.
Were you guys together at the time that the show started? Were you already together, or
no? When the pilot what happened, we were in fact during the pilot shoot, we all went out and I was still drinking. We were all drinking, and I remember one night, John Goodman and Roseanne were in the front seat, and Laurie Metcalf and I were in the back seat, and I was like, Laurie Metcalf she's fun, and we're got to, you know, she and I were sort of paired up, and I noticed that Roseanne and John Goodman were paired up, and then Laurie Metcalf stuff. I mean, I was, and the next morning, Rosie calls me over to her trailer, and she's like, "Hey, yeah, I saw you and Laurie holding hands or whatever," and I go, "Yeah, I like her." She's like, "No, you know, writers can't date actors." Yeah, that's a rule of show business. I go, shoot, I'm so sorry. Don't tell anybody. I won't do that again. I don't know all the rules of show business. She goes, yeah, it is. Yeah, I just wanted it. I go, don't make sure nobody finds out. She goes, I will. Anyway, so I didn't know that she liked me. I moved out to LA with my fiance from Minneapolis, Denise, and then the next year we were both single, and Rosie came up one day and goes, "Listen, nobody likes either one of us. We should probably get married." Yeah.
And then when you did, I mean, you guys were all over the news at the time. Yeah. I mean, all over the news, and because, I mean, I don't know of any specific outrageous thing just that comes to mind, but I do remember that, you know, you guys were a pair, and it just seemed to make fucking sense. Like, it just did. It made sense at that time. And so what happens though? Like, so are you together throughout the whole show, like on the timeline? So she's still doing the show when things start to go bad then too, between you guys, right?
Well, from 88 when it started to 94, the first 6 years, you know, they have these little documentary type shows about that time and about us, and I watched those because it was the 30th. I'm gonna get Boggs there. Get over here, Sasha. It was the 30th anniversary. By the way, what year were you born? 89.
Season 88.
So we were. I don't care what year. I met Roseanne 37 years ago, so way before Sasha was born. But they have these shows that it used to bug me. I'd turn them off, and they keep making them about the crazy people.
I love.
But now I like them because you see how. First of all, I got to a lot of fights, and
the guy
I'm a badass.
Has your
Oh, the
hand
play, but
well.
but I like the real ones. The real, because you can see with the paparazzis and how badly dressed we were. We would go to Spago, the old Spago, and I just remember the fights where they surrounded our car. And I wouldn't fight with the paparazzi now. They, they'll show up where my kids and I go up here to, if my ex files something, and say they'll show up at the Beverly Glen Deli up here, and they surprise us sometimes. And we have my kids think it's funny, and so nothing, But back in the day, when I in my 20s, but I'm pretty, but there's one of the great fights is out at the old Spago, the fancy one, where the Tower Records is over there, where it used to be, over there on Sunset in Hollywood, and we look like farmers, and it's when people really dress up, and they surround our car, and we can't get through, and and at one point these redneck fans come up and they go, "Do you want to?" They say to her, "Do you want us to beat the shit out of these guys to get? We'll do it for $50." And we're so stupid because I've been arrested at the airport right before that, and she goes, "You have?" And you see me hand her $50. She hands it these guys, and we thought they were. I didn't think that what was going to happen, and they just start. I have to get out of the car to save these guys' lives, and now it looks like I am, and I'm genuinely, and then not for so much money, but it is because you can see her handing the money, going, ha, 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 and there's so many things like that, and so many. But as you get farther away from me, you go, hey, I used to be fucking young once, man, and we did have some, we were young.
Yeah,
and so like Jesus.
Right? You even opened a restaurant together, right? A loose meat sandwich.
Yeah, we opened a bunch of the loose meat sandwich restaurant in Eldon by our farm.
This is the second time you've said loose meat sandwich.
That's what they're called, loose meat sandwiches. What would you call them? That we had one on the Roseanne show.
Well, you described Roseanne as not a loose meat sandwich kind of person.
No, I said she grew up and they don't have loose meat sandwiches in Salt Lake City, in Iowa. They have made right sandwiches. The canteen is in Tubbo, Iowa.
I just didn't know
that's
certain states were known for loose meat sandwiches.
Do you know what a loose meat sandwich is?
Not really.
No. Well, that's right. North Carolina is not known for that, but Iowa is, and that's why we had a. Now, what were you talking about? Movies where people played us?
So wait, these are like these true Hollywood stories kind of shit that you see?
Well, like Lifetime movies, you know how they do like Harry, and the whole royal family. They made these in the early 90s. And the guy that plays you, like when you talk to Tom Arnold, he'll grab you by the shoulders, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you want him to or not, and he just kind of pats you.
You want him to or not?
This guy he like knew your mannerisms so well. Like I don't know how the storyline does not match what you told me, but mannerisms and like his timing, it's a good performance.
Did you ever?
Who played Roseanne?
I don't know. I don't know how her performance was, but I just know the guy that played you got knocked.
Well, who is he? Who is the guy? Is he?
I don't know.
I'll tell you. So here's what happened. Right after the divorce, they had two of those movies that I remember. One was on Fox, and one was on. It wasn't ABC. It must have been NBC. And I done True Lies, which is Fox.
Yeah, which I want to get into. But go ahead.
Came out right after I got fired for Roseanne and divorced the same day. And then I started a movie called 9 Months, which is Fox again. And True Lies is a big hit of Fox. So you think they'd protect me? And 9 Months is a big movie with Robin Williams and Hugh Grant and Julianne Moore and Jodie Cusack, and we're up in San Francisco, and we're up in Napa, and we're filming. And Hugh Grant and I are buddies. We're very good buddies, and so I'm like just you know we're so tight, and so I'm you know he's like, hey mate, I can't believe Fox Studios is the network, the TV network's having a fucking movie about your fucking marriage. That's so ridiculous. Then we got our movie. Then we got a real movie coming out. That's fucking insulting. That the TV. I mean, that's fucking the worst. I mean, it's comforting me. And I go, yeah, it's bullshit, man. He goes, I'll tell you, man. They, you know, that's just and on and on. And it was a Saturday night. And it's like, he goes, listen, man, come over here. Just you and I, man. We'll just come over here in my bungalow here. We'll just fucking hang out, man. Come over here. So I went over there. I walked into his little thing, and the lights on, and everybody was there. And they were watching the fucking movie. You know. But then this is the best part. The last day of the movie, I go. We went to the Improv for one thing. The Improv on Melrose, and Hugh Grant. I go. Hey, listen, we're staying at the Four Seasons down there on Doheny. I go, hey, listen, this is a Saturday night. I go, hey, Tuesday the Dodgers. There's a Dodger game. You wanna go to it? And he's like, Tom, our movie's over. I go, yeah, I know our movie's over, but I know you're staying on for like a month, and I live right up there, you know, Benedict Canyon. I live right up the street there, and so I thought we'd. And he goes, yeah. Yeah, but our movie's over, and I go.
Weird.
I go. Yeah. He goes. I just thought we would. And he goes. Did you think we were friends? Yeah. And you know the story. And I go. And I go. Oh, you know. He goes. No, don't be offended, Tom. Don't be offended. We're show business friends. You know. Listen, man. I'll see you in a year, and I'll give you a hug. And I go. Oh, yeah. No problem. So. Anyway, I went and I had to fly up to Toronto to start with the Stupids, and you know, and I was gonna fly up, start, and they come back for the Dodge game. Anyway, so I get up there. My plane lands at 6 a.m. I get an emergency phone call from my publicist, like, "Oh my God, did you hear what happened to Hugh Grant?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, did he die?" And she's like, "Worse. He was arrested with a prostitute." Right. Oh, man or woman? Because I know you very well. Just said, call waiting. Do they still have call waiting on phones? Just Hugh Grant in my phone. It's like, bloody hell, mate. Bloody hell. You won't believe what happened. Yeah, I just got out of jail. Oh, where are you? We got to get together. I got to think of a lie to tell Elizabeth. And I'm like, did you think we were friends? I swear to God. And then we went to promote the movie.
Oh my God.
We went on Leno, and I wanted Letterman the same night, and fucking nobody watched Letterman that night. But that really happened. He's actually I'm sure he's sick of me telling that story, but fuck him. But that happened.
That's kind of fucked up, though, to say, like, well, the movie's over. Like, why would we do something? Like, that's kind of that's a dick thing.
He's funny. He's funny. He's different.
At least make something up.
Tortured him. Trust me. I tortured him during the movie. He, there was some action. There's some punching stuff. Julianne Moore did not like him at all. She thought he was a wuss, and there was a scene. Robin Williams made him insanely crazy because Robin just kept doing scenes, and they were so long, and I kept saying, "Do more, Robin, just do more." And you could tell Hugh Grant was like a trained, and he'd be sitting in the corner, and I go, "Robin, just keep going," like I just love Robin. And then there's a fight scene in the delivery room. And I was practicing it. And Chris Columbus directed this movie, the nicest guy in the world. I think he did the first Harry Potter. He produced all of them. And I was playing. My character was Chris Columbus, who was so excited to have babies. And we're practicing the fight scene. And I'd already knocked out a stuntman playing a dinosaur in a toy store that was like Barney the dinosaur, except it was Arnie. And and we practiced it. The stunt coordinator goes, "You can hit him anywhere except the eye, because there's no cut. That's a piece of metal." And so it's a really well-known scene if you Google it. And we're fighting, me and Hugh Grant's fighting, and I go back and I'm thinking, where did he say? He said I could hit him in the eye, and I hit him so hard. I knocked him out, and the stunt guy's like, cut, just a perfect cut up here. He's knocking out there, go, let's get Evans. He's like, no, give me smelling salts. I'm finishing the scene. Take me up. But very nice guy. But so Hugh Grant has seen that. So we get to the scene at the end of the movie, and I'm punching him, a fake punch, but he's like, oh no, no, I don't trust. There's no way I trust. I go, buddy, I've been in a lot of fight scenes. You don't have to worry about me. I will not go over that line. We practice and practice it, and then Robin, we get going. And then I was laughing. Robin is so funny, and I stepped over and bam! I go, oh, bloody hell! and he got it, and even though I hit him in the nose, he reacted too hard.
Right.
Julianne Moore was just like, that was. She's like, bloody hell, oh, you! He just did it.
That's probably why I didn't want to hang out with you.
I watched the movie again with his insight.
No.
That's great, but it was such a fun. Jody Cusack, if you ever get to, what a great bunch of people. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, he's great.
What a great bunch of people.
So I do want to, talk about the podcast you're doing with Sasha, but I can't ignore a couple of things before we get to that. I mean, True Lies, you've brought up a couple of times. Now, I just recently, maybe a month and a half ago, before we even set this up, did a screening. I saw it in the theater when it came out. And one of the things that I remember everyone reacting to was, wow, Tom Arnold was good, like surprised almost, because of all the chaos and everything that happened with Roseanne, like people were surprised, but you weren't just good, you were fantastic. Like that was you were great in it. So we just watched that movie. And I gotta think that like that moment for you must have been huge to find out, like, because not only of him, you have James Cameron, right? And he had already done Aliens, right? So I mean, he's already a big director at that point. Like, how do you get that? How'd you get the part? You read for it? How does that happen?
Well, it was the most expensive movie ever made at the time, and it was a big gamble by James Cameron, obviously. Really, my first movie. And I went and met, he came down to his house, and Arnold was there. And I'm like, Arnold came walking down the stairs. I'm like, and I'm standing next to Cameron, and he goes, look here, look who's coming downstairs. Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I go, I can take him. Cameron goes, you pretty much had the part when you said that, but we read together, and he goes, oh, that is it. You got it. And but you can't tell anybody for 2 weeks.
But that's cool though, because he gave it to you right away. Most of it.
But I told everybody, and nobody believed me. And then he had to tell Fox Studios, and he's like, great news, we can start filming finally. I found the third guy. They're like, that is great news. We've been dying to start this. The third guy after Jamie Lee and Arnold. I go, who is it? And he goes, it's Tom Arnold. They're like, that is terrible news, Jim Cameron. He's never done anything, and he is a maniac. Do you not read the tabloids? And it's like, no, why would I read the tabloids? And they're like, we're sorry, Jim, we cannot approve Tom Arnold. And he's like, yeah, I'm actually sorry, because I wanted to make the movie here. Now I'm going to walk across the fucking street and make it a Paramount. And they're like,
wow,
we'll give him a chance. And so every day the Fox executives came out there. I had no idea they hated me. I was like high-fiving them. Thanks for loving me. They're just waiting for the fuck up. And then when they first tested it, the audience are like, yay, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yay, James Cameron, yay, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, boo. But at the end, when they filled out the cards, the person they liked the best was me.
Yep.
So it was a big deal. And because of my divorce, it was so bad. And Roseanne said some crazy bad shit about me the first time she filed, and then she apologized. And then we went back together for a week. And then who knows? But I said, people are like, he will never work again. He wrote her coattails. He's a gold digger. He'll be back in Iowa in 2 weeks. And I was like, hey, that is probably true. But I got for 6 years on one of the best shows ever on television. I will tell my grandkids about that. And Jim Cameron's like, hey, fuck those people. True Lies comes out in 2 months. They'll be fucking sucking your dick, man. I go, I wish I could know. That's not how it works, man.
Is Quinn still laying there under you guys?
But yeah, it's not going to be great. But it was. I mean, they didn't know each other. But metaphorically, it was a turnout like this. Like people are like, oh shit, no, he is very good. So,
do you think Roseanne got? Do you think it bothered her at all that you did so well, that you kind of?
Well, she calls it. I really feel I want to be a part of this. I mean, but to me, she should have, because she was so hateful. She should have went, well, and she did do this. Well, I knew he could do. I discovered it. That's what I would do. I'd be, because I was always like, you're amazing. When you're friends with somebody or when you work with somebody. Like for the moment I met her, I'm like, she is a fucking great comic. She is a great voice. I am going to have her back and try to make her better and be a part of this. People that are like, oh, I love this person. I support this person. Oh, I hate, they're the devil. There's always something odd about, yeah, let me take all that back. They're terrible. They're not. But you go, but I suppose it bugs. But she was there and came out during the, she wanted me to quit the filming. She called James Cameron and said, yeah, he's quitting. And he
did she really do that? So
while she went around?
Yeah, but it took somebody like James Cameron, like he did not give a fuck. Like,
but still, like, weren't you furious? Like, it's fucked up.
I thought it was, they did go over. She couldn't make me quit. It's like I had a, but it made it double. The last year of the marriage was extra, stressful, because she wanted to quit, or at least pretended she wanted to quit her show a lot. She had a lot of issues, and she certainly supported me early on in the marriage with my issues of substance abuse. And me and my stepkids, went to rehab together and got sober. And so when she had her multiple personality stuff, it was my honor to, support her and also to be a stepfather. There's a lot of great things that happened in that time that, I'm very grateful for. But I've talked to her once in all those years since 1994. That was at her roast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been some phone calls and a unfortunate Howard Stern 45-minute screaming. I forget how many years out after the marriage, but Gary for the Howard Stern called me. I was in the Regency. I was getting ready to check out. He goes, "Listen, Roseanne is here. I think you guys should be friends again." And Howard said, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea." It has been. And the next thing I know, I was standing on the bed like, "Fuck you, no, fuck you." And she was with this guy that worked for. I'm going to come down there and beat the. I mean, it is exactly like I'd worked really hard to go. I'm doing movies now. I'll be my own guy. I'm not that guy, and it was great radio. And the guy that owned the Regency, my friend Steve Tisch, who was my best man at my next wedding, called me and goes, "There's about 10 people pulled off the side of the 405." And what? I go, "Was it bad?" He goes, "Well, it was bad. It was good, but it was." I was like, because she just kept, and I'm sure I was pushing her buttons. She's like, She said I stole $1 million in a shoebox, which I didn't steal it. I took it to buy her a. Which there's so many crazy things that happen.
Look at Sparta's face, right?
There's so many real things that.
Wait, you did?
I did take it into Harry Winston. I took it to buy her a rig, and took a big into Harry Winston. There's so many things that actually happened, But you don't, you have accountants, but I did take that into Harry Winston. We were first kind of together. We first had a lot of money.
With her knowledge.
Oh yeah, she knows about it. She was in her book, but and the Harry Winston people are like very confused. It was like the Pretty Woman with they didn't know what was going on because I just thought, well, I'll just use cash and maybe I'll get a discount. But it really happened. You could, and I thought, well, I'm just going to take all this money out of the safe and put it. It was like a giant. It was a nice shoebox. It wasn't like, but
it wasn't like a Skechers. It was like a nice shoebox. Money.
She's like, you stole that? No, I go, I didn't steal that. I bought a. And then at Bob Hope's 90th birthday celebration, which we participated in, they had these pins that said Bob Hope 90th birthday, and she wanted one. I said, I'll get you one. And she took one off a crew guy, and I could tell he really wanted it. And I said, okay, you got to let that guy have it. We got to fight. She kept kicking me in the shins backstage. I'm like, you got to give the fucking dude. This is like Bob Hope standing right over there. We go back, we go out to the car. Security gets us in the car before we start fucking fist fighting there. I'm like, okay, do your thing over there. This is, and I'm not going to, I'll talk to you when we get home. And all of a sudden I put my head down. I feel a whoosh. I got her this purse in Paris, one of a kind Chanel purse. It's about this big. It's about $200,000 because all the pearls on this long thing are, each pearl costs whatever. It's one of a kind. She saw it in the magazine. She goes, this. I go, I will find that. And I found it. And she just got it. All of a sudden I feel kind of a whoosh of air. It's that purse. It hits me in the face. And all the pearls go everywhere. And I'm like, fuck that. And then I just kind of lunge. We had a thing where you get, so she can't hit you. You got it. It was therapist's room. And then, of course, as usually happened, eventually there's sex involved in it. So
this is the one porno story I've ever heard.
Always leads you to sex.
Well, but my first thing I ever did by myself was my HBO specials, which were very good. Tom Arnold, The Naked Truth, and I had all these people, all these cameos from famous people, and but very well written. Judd Apatow did it with me. It's one of his first jobs. He was about 18, and the first day, the first special, Roseanne. I'm trying to. She did her cameo the first day. We did it at Judd Apatow's grandma's house up at the top by Mulholland there. We didn't have a permit. Pete Siegel directed it. And she was there, and she was getting her makeup on. And I said, why did I say it about makeup? I said something, and I thought it was a compliment about, hey, I don't even care what you look like. I forget how it came out wrong. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I feel like fingernails. Oh. And we did. It's like, and I just get, and then everybody clears the room, and then we had this guy Oak, this huge bodyguard for the show, come in there, and he tried to engage with me, and then I threw him out the door, and Judd's like, "Oh my God, you can ask Judd Apatow who's on here." Like, oh, we're going to be arrested. This is my grandma's house. We don't have a permit. You just hear things breaking. And then I believe there was sex involved. And then we filmed it. Mark, the punchline was, obviously, I don't care what you look like, which I thought was a compliment.
You said
I know. And, but we filmed, and, again, I mean, I thought that's my career's over because we are not going to, this HBO special series is over. And I think that it bothered, she did have a little passive aggressive stuff about me doing stuff. I think that's, a little Star is Born and stuff. You know, and I got to
Ooh, wait.
Roseanne. Well, I
Make
think
an analogy.
I would be
Who's Lady Gaga?
well, or Barbara Streisand,
Yeah.
right? Christopherson. Well, she would be yeah. I'd be Bradley Cooper, would I not? I like Bradley Cooper.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
So, how are we doing on?
Lady Gaga, would I?
You're
I'd
Lady
be
Gaga.
Yeah.
How are you doing on time? Do we have some more time with you? Or are you pretty?
Can you see the kids in the house? Can you see a picture of them? We have 22 cameras here inside and out.
That's it.
We can see with Sasha. Sasha came out of the bathroom one day, and I got the signal here, unknown face in the hall because she didn't have her makeup on. I swear. We have the most intense security system here because we
Could be
get
Roseanne.
visitors.
Oh,
Let me tell you something. Ex-wives, and then when you have an ex-wife and you have kids, everything, nothing, no divorce, whatever. But once there's kids involved, I mean, forget about it. Everything is easy until once kids are involved, everything, you look back and go, oh, that was easy. Roseanne divorce, that was easy.
Yeah.
But once there's children, everything is great. But then it's that people could really, because you're on, you want to really, things are more complicated.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, don't worry, the kids will figure out when older what the real story is. Well, you can't really, so what are we going to do? Just let it go until they're 30 and then they'll figure it out? No, you can't do that either. So, but it's good. It's good. Got to protect them.
Yeah, I mean the fact that you get to be in the house with them all the time is, it's good. You
get out of the house too. We have a fertile, that people are like, well, Donald Trump's like, you got to get kids back in school because the research says the suicide drug use of preschoolers, and he wants kids back in school because it makes business look like he wants to win this. He'll put our kids back in school, but we've been kind of enjoying it. It's been a lot. They Zoom class. I have a classroom really nice over here. 2 Zoom classes. Sasha's been great. But I'm not going to have my kids going to school because of Betsy DeVos, who's terrible, Donald Trump, who doesn't care about his own kids. And we're going to do what the best thing. And California's got a pretty. Are you guys in New York?
Yeah,
we're in New York, and we
got a pretty smart here and there. And I have to tell you one thing about Sasha. Sasha is Michael Cohen called here, and we had a fight on the phone, and she doesn't.
Wait, is this after you taped him?
Yeah, yes, this is recently after he got out of prison, and Sasha heard the call, and she didn't know who Michael Cohen was. But what did you think about our relationship?
You guys are like 2 mean 13-year-olds that sleep over and saying that I'm not going to be your friend anymore. This is the last time we're going to talk.
But how did it end up?
He asked you to call him again.
Yeah, after he blamed me for going in the hole.
Oh yeah, he said every time you talk to me, I end up in prison.
it didn't happen again.
But
Well, he put me in the hole.
I said Trump saw a tweet of mine, and had Bill Barr he was on his way out of prison. He saw a tweet about his book from me because Trump hates me so much, and he got put in the hole. And I said, well, that'll be good for your book, man. I said, what kind of bullshit is that? Why do I have that kind of power over the president? And why are you blaming me? I'm a private citizen. You worked for the guy. We had this whole thing. And, I said, why didn't you have a phone in prison that you could call me on? I go, I'm not. You're continuing the relationship. You keep getting me your phone number in prison. You had Anthony. Give me your new number. And he goes, Anthony Scaramucci. I go, that's another thing. There's 3 Anthonys communicating between the 2 of us in prison. He goes, well, I thought you might want to I'm not
The
stalking
poor
you.
guy comes to you and says, "They put me in the hole," and you go, "That would be good for your book."
Well, that's a positive. He was in a luxury prison, but he
See, this
is
is why I really enjoyed your podcast, because this is what I said very early on.
She
is
calls him out.
Sasha calls him out easily. Like, you could have easily gotten somebody to just sit there and yes you to death. But instead, as you can see by the grief on your face, so here,
well, when you're inspired by John Mayer, when that guy is, I like John Mayer too, but
It's only because I'm a girl. He said he's had a lot of personal assistants, and he says he goes, "I'm a lot harder on the boys."
you are. Let me just say, one day I was talking about a sports Hall of Fame baseball player died, and this guy played every day. He played for the Detroit Tigers, and I said, I'll tell you what, man, that guy. When you're a kid and somebody like that, that really affects you. That really becomes a part of your life, and that's sports really, that's important stuff, and you go, yeah, it's like John Mayer was like, I go, who are your heroes? He goes, John Mayer. I go, fuck, are you fucking? That's who your idol is, fucking John Mayer. What the fuck has he ever done?
I kind of agree with Tom a little bit. You probably could have aimed a little higher. I mean, he's a talented guy, but I get it.
Carole King.
Yeah, she did. She did.
All right.
But
I saw John Mayer perform at Howard Stern's 60th birthday. It was amazing. He can play the guitar as well as he can sing.
And he's
I
funny.
understand where this is coming from.
Yeah, but he can't take a shot in the face from a $200,000 pocketbook like Tom can. So,
Was I at Howard Stern's 60th birthday? When was it?
It was 5 years ago.
I was there.
You were there?
Yes, I was
You saw
fucking there.
John Mayer perform?
Yes, I did.
What
He's
was
very
it
good
like?
on the guitar.
Oh,
Not on the stage. Jimmy Kimmel got me up on the stage. But yeah, John Mayer is very good on the guitar. I think he played a Prince. Did he play
Purple Rain.
yeah.
He did Purple Rain.
Yeah.
He's very good. You want John Mayer to be shitty, but he's also very funny. He's also got a very big, very large skull. No, he's great. Actually, amazing, John Mayer.
yeah.
And he tries different things, but he doesn't have any golden gloves.
Hmm.
No, he's great.
No,
He doesn't know what loose meat is.
yeah, that's not.
Loose
That's
meat
true.
is the name of this episode.
No, he's great.
Someone tells me John May has seen some loose meat in his lifetime.
Hey,
Yeah.
how did you guys get together?
We've been
Craigslist.
yeah, well, we've been doing this show for 10 years now, and Lori and I used to be on Howard Stern's Roundtable, the Superfan Roundtable. We do it all the time. And every time we would do it, I would have fun doing it. We'd be at Sirius and we would go there. But the thing that would bother me was as soon as you started having a fun conversation that drifted off topic, naturally they would steer you back to talk about what happened on the Stern Show again. And I was like, man, this is so much fun. I wish I could do this myself. So at the time, podcasting was pretty much the only avenue that people who weren't famous had. And at the time, it was a joke. It was considered like, ham radio, somebody in their basement doing it. So, we started doing it week after week. And I invited Lori because I remember how good she was on it. Mm-hmm. And she started doing the show more frequently. And now she's with us every single week for years now. And, we get to do what we want. We get to talk about what we want. We get to talk to people that we want to talk to. And we just do this show for us, just like
We
you
just have similar disgusting interests.
Right, exactly. But you can tell, though, that you guys also, just enjoy doing it. And, we started a full network and, now it's just a show again. But the one thing I always used to tell anybody who started a podcast is, what do I do to get listeners? Don't worry about any of that shit. Just do what you like. And the people that are interested will come. And those who won't, you don't care about those people anyway.
Yeah.
So when I hear the podcast between the two of you, it's natural. I can hear you guys having that conversation without microphones. Like it just sounds like a natural discussion that you have.
Yeah, it is, and that's what's fun. You know, I heard that Sasha did a podcast or something, and I was in my bed, kind of going through who she was on. She was working in the kitchen on Instagram. I was kind of I was laughing at some of her stuff, and I was texting it to her out there. And we're sitting here one day, and she's like, I was thinking about doing a show. I go, what have you written or you pitched shows? She goes, yeah, I've written, just kind of randomly while she's done. And I go, I think about a show where the kids, the mom is doing the way she described it. I go, yeah, you've never really been around kids. That show would make people very uncomfortable.
It's a children's show. It's a children's show for parents with kids.
Yeah. So that would be. I said that camera's on. We need to watch what that is. I said, I want to do a podcast with you. I go, make that happen. I said, but let's do it and have fun with it. Let's just do what we're doing here. And so then my manager said, I'll see if anybody's interested. I said, put it up like where people do it, whatever they do. And then he said, well, these people are interested in this network. And so then they called, and the one guy's like, well, here's some podcast where blah, blah, blah. I said, why do you like the show? I said, have you watched it? And you can tell one guy had it. He was just interested in it. And the two creative people go, what do you like about the show? And he goes, we like you too. That's why we're interested. We aren't buying shows now because we want to buy this show because we like you two together. You're different. Uh-huh. I said, that's why we'll do it. And then make us better, though. Make the show look better. Do your things. But it has to be because we have a different thing, just like you guys, just like you just said. Just like you two are different. Mm-hmm. You guys don't look the same. You guys have a history with, as you just described it.
Don't look the same.
They definitely don't look the same, but you know that you come from that place. Yeah. And chemistry. And
yeah. So just to put this up here, so the podcast is called Two in the Bush, which is, of course it is. So you can get it on Apple Podcasts, Google. I saw that you also put the videos on YouTube as well, which is great. You can watch it. And I heard you giving her advice about her boyfriend that he
wouldn't say she's his girlfriend. So that's it. She deserves better.
Yeah.
Your relationship advice.
But you know what? He sounded pissed off. Like you could tell he cares about you, Sasha, because he wasn't just telling you. So just to set this up. So apparently you had a boyfriend that didn't want to be called your boyfriend, right? And you explained this to Tom, and Tom was like, that's bullshit. Like he can't just give you that. Like but like you could hear that Tom is legitimately annoyed. Mm-hmm. Because he gives a shit. Like you could actually tell that he cares about you, and he was mad.
She's really great. He's a nice guy, but there's something up. If he's like, yeah, I just don't want to. First of all, he lives in San Francisco. He didn't want to make that.
Just give out his social security number.
But he lives like that's that. Yeah, so like she's great, but if you got it, you're like, oh, that's one too many. I will go home to visit your family, maybe, but I'm also a guy. If you're not willing to, it just makes it easier for him to break up because we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. So in the back of his mind, maybe he's the nicest guy in the world. He's just prepared to go, I never said we were boyfriend and girlfriend. He just wants to. So there's something missing. There's a chip missing. And then you're scrabbling around. And you guys break up at once every 3 weeks, month. But you're a serious person, man. The serious people don't go through this bullshit again and again. He may be, and you say you're looking at him like the prototype great guy, but you're different. You just don't want to, be friends with him. Do something, but don't talk to him for a while. Fuck that. And then he's like, after you break up, hey, I want to send you your birthday present from fucking May 21st that he never sent you. Fuck that guy. Got a phone with him.
Here's the thing. He loves to give advice. It doesn't matter if he knows what it's about at all. So I understand that he actually does care about me. But also he has a huge bullshit meter with me, with anybody, and I'm learning a lot from it. And it's like he feels the need to speak up and get agitated when he just senses that people aren't being true or authentic. And like for me, when I see him really get passionate about something, regardless of him caring about me in a relationship, I know that this person's full of shit because he's dealt with.
I mean, he's been in the Hollywood machine. I mean, if anybody sees bullshit day to day, I mean,
well, no, but I think that's you know, she deserves. She's amazing. I love her, and my kids love her. She's learns new things all the time. You know, she's you know, she's an incredible human being, and you know, she's you know, she's an adult and a child. No, she's an adult. And, you know,
I'm a 31-year-old woman that sleeps on the couch. I am a child.
But you sleep in the bed too with my daughter. Sometimes the only time she slept in the bed is with you, and you can sleep wherever you want around here. And
Thanks, Tom.
and you know, and you know, listen, we went to for vacation. We went to Palm Springs. There was one suite that was appropriate for my kids because of COVID, and it was the top floor of Kimpton because of the, you know, and it was nice, and they had pool table, and they had a record player that and the classic albums, and it was big, and it wrap around full windows, and I got Sasha a connecting room because I thought this is going to get old, and it was, and my kids are, you know, we go down there, they go crazy, and her room looked like a salesman's room, but I thought, you know, my kids slept in her room, and that's what they do. They check everything out, and then they go over here. I enjoyed it because I got to sleep in my
your own.
So like, I thought that makes me feel so good that they're like, Dad, we're sleeping in such, this is where we're gonna be, and I felt so good. And then I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I'm thinking, oh, I haven't had my own bed and all of a sudden, Sasha, I get a text. She goes, I want to show you something. I'm like,
so wrong.
what is that? And I thought, you know, she comes in, she kneels down.
Okay.
You see it just
Keep going.
and believe me, I wish it would. And then she goes, and then she starts to do this Shabbat prayer, which because we talked about, you know, Sasha's not Jewish, but she worked on this because I said, you know, I talked about how much it would, you know, how we got to start doing that on Friday nights, and you know, a lot of my friends, Jewish friends, they're like, is she Jewish? Because they wish she was. All my friends, and but she looks like, and she worked so hard on that, and she you know, she's unexpected, and she knelt down and did this. It was so sweet. I filmed it, and then she was worried that her nipples were too hard, and I put it up on the internet. But it's just, she's unusual, and I tell my kids, I go, we got to start bringing our A game to Shabbat. Guys. We got to, because I used the recording on the, you know, but she worked so hard. It's very sweet, and those are the kind of things, man. There's a lot of goofy stuff going on, but that's solid. Yeah, you know.
And that was my fault for my nipples were extremely hard. And then he captioned the video as Sasha's excited for Shabbat.
Well, you know, I didn't know that. I was so focused on how sweet it was because I'm also a father, number one, and then I focused on the nipples the second time. And I noticed anything, but now I'm. Well, my son. Listen, my son's big, and we need to lose weight around here. And she's like, we got to watch the movie Heavyweights. I'm going to get Jax to watch that movie. And it's one of my favorite movies ever. I go, I like that movie. It's about a fat cap. She goes, and so finally she puts on Heavyweights. She goes, Jax, you want to watch Heavyweights? And she says it 4 times. I go, please quit saying the name of the movie. I think that that's like saying Fat Cap. You want to watch Fat Cap? That's the name of the movie. I quit saying the name of the movie. Right. My son is big, and he's laying on the floor, and all of a sudden I hear Sasha go, Jax, quit looking up my skirt. Quit. I go, relax. She goes, I just move over. We're trying to get him to connect with this movie. And she goes, but he's looking up my skirt, and he's done it 3 times. So it's not an accident. I go, I know, and I don't have underwear on. I go, what the fuck? That one lesson here. I go, and it was such.
One lesson
at a time. I know. Today, we're trying to get him to connect with this movie. Like maybe he'll feel something, and maybe he'll go Dad, let's work out, man. But now you're like, whoa, you've offended me. Like, of course he's looking up. Who knew you didn't have underwear on? Put underwear on before you watch heavyweight. He probably had a feeling, and he's like, oh, what are we going to do? I'm going to, oh, boy. And then he sees that. And
He's mad now.
And then Tom couldn't focus on the movie.
Of course he looked up there, and of course he was, but you know, but it's a very good thought. Like, hey, let's watch this movie.
A lot of lessons learned.
A lot of lessons learned. He said he wants to beat up people like Ben Stiller got beat up. He really got a lot of violence, but but of course he's going to look. You don't have brothers. He sees that. He also likes teasing you. And see your reaction. You could have moved down just for the movie. Say, hey, I don't have underwear on, okay? Like, he's a big 7 too. He is very into you. She's like, the way he looks at me, like he's looking right at my boobs. I go, yeah, I did that with my grandma. I didn't have a mom. That's with my grandma. She kissed me goodnight. I look straight down her nightgown. Like, I haven't seen. You want to see? What?
How old is he? How old is he?
He's 7. He's 7. He's bigger than all the 5th graders. He's a large boy. He's bigger than Sasha.
She wear the same clothes.
She does wear his clothes.
So you guys then, you also did a video, right?
Yeah, we did. Awesome video.
Finished it, and I'm gonna play the video at the end when we're done. I'm gonna go out with the video, but I did take a couple of screenshots of this. Now the video is called Big Wasabi, and Tom, you're actually rapping in it, which is never something I thought I would say. And here's one of the shots, which what's with the captain's hat? That's
from McHale's Navy. Back there, that's why I wore it. It was a movie I did, and it happened to be in the room.
We used what we had. That's a hot dog. But the idea was Sasha had done a video that my son loved, and a real video, like a rap video. She's very good. Mm-hmm. And Alan Peterson had done it with her friend, and
so professional. I mean, it looks like a video, like a music
video. It is. And I saw her, I said, well, we're doing a video this summer, and I want to be everything in the house, everything about our life that's going on with this quarantine. The kids really want to be in it. I said they wanted to go to their mom wanted them to go to School of Rock camp, wanted me to pay for it. I'm like, hey, listen, my house is School of Rock camp. Fuck Jack Black. What about this guy? I've been in I am Jack Black. And so they the real rapper, a real filmmaker came down from San Francisco. I do that. This guy is such a great eye, and he's worked with Sasha before. Sasha helped. Alan wrote the lyrics. Sasha helped, and we, he did the beats. I went over to the guy's house. He lives at a house in North Hollywood. He's got there's 2 black guys in the living room, like you think, a half bottle of whiskey.
It's like a movie. Like we're just chilling on the couch, and all of a sudden, like I just walked the door with Tom fucking Arnold, and they're just, I think, like smoking weed, watching Always Sunny, and they're like, hey, man, and I'm just gonna go to the studio, which is the guy's bedroom, and we just laid down some tracks.
Yeah, he's very good. But also, Alan Peterson's parents are doctors. And they were in Bloomfield, Michigan. Anyway, they're very nice.
I did stand up with.
Yeah,
he's the gentleman also in the music video that does the chorus.
They're very nice. They're very nice
and
people.
Daryl is the one that shot it, edited it. He's incredible.
Yeah, Daryl's great.
It looked great. It really does. And here's another screenshot I took because I just feel like this is something that happens often.
I know that exact thing happened. Super Bill sent over to my bookkeeper, and I didn't know what it was. I go, so I guess thought you got to do the Super Bill. You got to take it as a Super Bill. She goes, "What's Super Bill?" I don't know what's Super Bill. It's this. It's some of the insurance, and that exactly happened. Where it's like there's a what do you call it? Password? What it?
Security questions.
I go, okay, and it was what's your favorite TV show?
Yeah.
And I said,
yeah. But we were on the phone with the guy.
Oh yeah, we were on the phone with the guy from SAG Insurance, and so I had to think of it on the phone, and I couldn't give a tip.
But the guy wouldn't talk to me. He was like, "I can't talk to you. You don't have a phone. We have to talk to Tom." And I was like, "Okay." So I'm standing there, and the guy's like, "What's your favorite TV show?" And I was like,
Something that goes on.
and
That was
they
going.
were like fighting over it, and the guy was like, "It is the Roseanne show."
Yeah, that's right. We had to do pretty things. And, all that's true. And the question was really, I think, what's your ex-wife? What street was your ex-wife born on? It's such a hard question. The only thing about it, but street, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then the other night, I'm like, God damn, you know what? I think I was in a porn. I go, look up Easy Riders magazine, because I think I did it like when the writer's strike happened in '88. I wrote this and filmed this comedy thing, but it was women's clothing, but it was a stripper. And I went out to Easy Riders magazine, rode my motorcycle. There was all these Hell's Angels, got so fucked up. And this woman, she had to take off her clothes and then put on the clothes and I think it was like a porn. I go, look up Easy Riders Tom Arnold. She goes, why don't I look up porn Tom Arnold? I go, no, fuck that. And then eventually she looked up porn Tom Arnold. It's the first thing that comes. Tom Arnold porn. I described it like, this one was like a classy. It was exactly like a porn.
Didn't you do a Craftmatic adjustable bed commercial where the bed caught fire?
Oh no, I wish. Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Not that I know of. But this porn is. I have a bullet, and I'm so like.
I gotta
young and dumb. So.
Voice of the Arby's hand.
The Arby's government for years. That was a great job. The Arby's government voice.
Yeah.
That was millions of dollars
I
at Arby's for life.
Commercial, though. That's amazing.
Yeah, maybe I was. I wanted.
You saw that, Rob?
Wow. It was on your Wikipedia. You should look because it's on there.
Wikipedia is bullshit.
Yeah. So I don't know, but what a fucking bizarre thing to come up with. Like that's just so out there.
People are like, by the way, this porn. People are always like, Trump people are like, hey, I'm going to out you for being in a porn. I know that. I go, out me. They go, I know the woman. I go, let me talk to her. I'm like, hey, how's she doing? Out me. Put it up. I'm trying to find it. There's nothing I've ever done that I'd be embarrassed about. Zero.
Yeah, and so you've seen that porn? You've seen the whole thing?
Oh yeah. Well, Jimmy Kimmel ran it once on his show when I was a guest. I mean, it was Easy Riders magazine, man. They played it as part of their before they had digital. They sold videos. Like I thought it was super cool. My sister was a biker. She was she was the biggest methamphetamine dealer in America. If you Google Lori Arnold, it's crazy. She was more famous than me. Her husband is the president of the Grim Reapers motorcycle gang. They're doing a series about her for Discovery from that drug. She went to prison for 20 years. But that's all in my town. I was a good, there was a lot of scumbag bikers in my town, including her husband. But I also loved, the Hell's Angels. Everybody loved Easy Riders magazine. It was a big honor to be a part of that.
It was a porn.
It was a porn, yeah.
Yeah, but so maybe that's how you got to be on Sons of Anarchy. Maybe they saw your
yeah, exactly. I love that. Well, that and it was Katie Seagal played my wife in a movie too. And that's probably how I got it. But I love Kurt Sutter. He's also sober. That's probably how I got to. Who knows? Plus, I'm very good.
So, you still have some time. We have questions from some fans that
please.
All right, so I'm going to go through some of these. Let's see here. We have one. Okay, so one of my favorite Tom stories is him talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger and his house, the half-naked guys walking around.
Well, first of all, when we were talking about his miniature horse. He also has a Bengal tiger. Because he got this circus ran out of money in Europe, and he finances him if he can have the animals at his parties, and so he'll have a Bengal tiger, he'll have an elephant at his Christmas parties. These crazy, inappropriate animals, and so yeah, so then they've gotten loose, and every time I go to the Christmas party, the first time I saw that Bengal tiger on a rope and one of his buddies smoking, I started filming. I told Howard Stern this, like, I'm filming that because I'm like, oh fuck, that thing is going to start mauling his fucking Austrian friends, and I'm going to get it on video, and it's going to be hilarious because one of them got loose into his kitchen. He has a nice house too. It just started ransacking. You could hear just started destroying it. But yeah, though they're half naked. They're always half naked. They have gold lame. This does not embarrass him or his friends. No, they get out there, grease up and oil up. That's how they do it. No, you can't embarrass him or his friends. That's how they lay out and hang out with each other. And they put the oil on each other. They work out. Then they get in the sun. That's what they do. That's what they've always done. And what they do, they used to go to like Sardinia, which is an island, and just pick up rocks naked for weeks. 2 men, 3 men, 4 men, and there was no G string then. Just Franco Colombo, Arnold, some of the other buddies. That's what they got out there on the island, and it's picked and do with a bunch of meat and nudity. And that was their thing, pick each other up. That's a fact. You read about his book, like we were picking each other up, and we had rocks and tree stumps, and we're rubbing each other up. But they do. They have they lay out by this pool, and they're like talking like Ralph Muller, and I took my baby, with Jackson's baby, I took him over there. Then you go, come over and swim by the pool, and it was all his dudes, but it's just their gold lame one piece there.
So bizarre, but like you're right. He's not embarrassed because in his case, it works. Like it makes sense.
Well, he's the greatest bodybuilder that ever lived. I mean, he has changed. I got his bodybuilding pictures up here. He's changed the world because people still come. 30,000 people show up in South Africa at the Arnold Classics because he's made fitness a thing and bodybuilding a thing, and there's a guy that came to this country in 1968 with a like $5 in his pocket and a pair of super short shorts, I imagine, and a sticky tank top, and he has achieved every dream he's ever thought of, and he
became governor.
I mean, it's crazy what he's done, and so, and man, people when they see these people, I went to the Arnold Classic a couple times in Columbus, Ohio, with him, and people just freak, and he's one of my best friends. It's crazy, and so, but the stuff he's done, man, he's
it's crazy.
He loves the country so much. He fucking hates Donald Trump. He also does not approve of everything I do. Let me tell you, but my methods. But he's an amazing guy. It's great. Something else.
Yeah, but I mean, and you are relentless on Trump too, and I love that. Because, even on this show, like earlier on, I didn't want to get into the political part of it, but I kind of feel like right now, like there's no other time to speak out than now. Like this is the time to speak out, and you're relentless on Twitter attacking him, and rightfully so. I mean, look, everybody has their opinions, but as far as Lori and I go, Lori is at Trump Tower today in Manhattan, where they painted the big Black Lives Matter like right in front of it.
Well, I don't think it's I'm political. I don't think I was political before this. I've known the guy for 30 years, and I just think I want to. I can do what I can for my kids, my little kids. I want them to grow up in a as good a country as possible. I know him. I knew Donald Trump, and I fine enough individual, but a terrible person. The worst person, one of the worst people I've ever met in my life, and just not qualified to be the president. I mean, just doesn't have that. He truly just cares about himself, and we're in a terrible position. And who knows what? I mean, look at this pandemic. He just lies. He doesn't care. He wants to put kids back in school to make himself
to pretend that it's over.
It's over, and it's it's just a horrible thing to do for we're in a horrible. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. And I told Michael Cohen on Sunday when he called me with his friends, I said, you gotta go there painting that mural down in front of the Trump Tower where you worked for 10 years. You need to go down there with your kids and just watch them do that, because that would mean a lot. DeRay, I think that's how you say his name, the activist, with the date when I first met Michael Cohen at the Regency for my show, I was very tough with him about Trump. I said, you got to flip with him. I was very tough. And then I go outside and interview the guys from Black Lives Matter, because I knew how important that would be a couple of years for them. Like right now, how important they were to New York City, to this country. And if anybody watches The Hunt for the Trump Tapes, which very few people did, but and now to have that mural in front of Trump Tower, which is, it's a little showboating by the mayor of New York, but it's really important. And Black Lives Matter is a really important organization. And don't let people tell you otherwise. And things are changing. This is a big, and I'm certainly behind it. We went to a march. She didn't tell me she was fucking claustrophobic. I looked around the wall. I was like, I'll get you on my shoulders. I'll get you on my shoulders like I do the kids, man. You get worried. I've always got a way out of here. But yeah, this is not, and this is, this is not time to go. Well, I'm against 80% of what he does. I'm for 20. No, this is the bad news. Mm-hmm. You cannot, and but whatever you guys want to do, and but there's a lot of people that don't like me speaking up. There's a lot of people in our business, a lot of liberals that are uncomfortable with it, and that's a problem. And but that's on them. I think it's going to be. We just got to do everything we can. There's a cruelty to them. There's a cruelty to the people that support him, that enable him, and you see who they're cruel to, and it's usually women of color, people. And it's not okay. Right. And, I tell you, there's a lot of people that bully those people, and I found that Donald Trump is a phony. He's threatened to sue me a million times. He's threatened to, and nothing. His fans, his trolls, threatened to kill me, threatened to do all this stuff. Nothing. So they're cowards and they're bullies and they're weak and you just keep going, and it will be over, and then we'll learn a lesson and we'll move on.
Tom, yeah. I think I despise his sons more than him sometimes, and you've heard him call Eric Trump the R word before.
Yeah, because Eric Trump is somebody that both boys he's disowned. Back in the 90s, Don Jr. got Donnie, got in trouble. He got in a fight down in New Orleans, drunk, and his dad's like, "I disowned you. I'm not paying for anything for a year." And my friends took care of him. My friends from Colorado. Same thing with Eric when he got in trouble, and we took him to Maui on a vacation with us, and I mean everything. Their friends covered everything, and I kind of led the sober meetings for all the young people, and couldn't. I was actually trying. I was like, your dad, he's just for a different generation. Your mom supports you. He'll get over it. And at the time, I didn't know about the dad's brother, which makes it worse. Because his brother died of alcoholism, and the dad was addicted to him, and his dad. But being a father, I can't imagine that. But that says something about who his dad is. He knows it. Eric knows it. I've seen him pit the brothers against each other. That's his big move always. On the set there of the show. I never would do the show, but I've seen him pit them against each other, make Don Jr. cry. And that's part of the reason I want the to get the tapes edited, which they will be one day. Everything about him will come out one day, and and people are like, well, it's his dad, so they've got to support. But you don't when you're an adult. You don't have to enable. You can take a step back. He's not gonna. He's always been cruel. He's cruel to everybody. He's cruel to sometimes you have to man up and be, but we have to take them all down.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
And in the face.
Yeah. The word cruel is right on, because before he won, when he was running against Hillary, the one thing I kept saying is, I don't understand how he has so much support, because you got to think the one qualification at least that you need to have to be president is intelligence. You need to at least be intelligent. And how does anyone look at him and think that's an intelligent man? But now I don't even think that. I think you need at least a good moral person, just like someone with a fucking soul.
Well, how do you get away with attacking and bullying Hillary Clinton? Now she is a fucking grandmother. She's also one of the great, in my mind, she's one of my heroes. She's been attacked for things that her husband has done. They fucking have picked on her, that whole Republican Party, all those men, the Benghazi thing, over and over. She is smarter than all of them. And then for him you've never seen anything like it, threatening to lock her up.
Yeah.
And look at everybody involved in his campaign. They are all criminals. They are all associated with Russia or somewhere else and money laundering. They are looting our treasury. And, it started with him being a birther about Obama. Obama, our first, I don't care what you think about him, his policies. He is a great American success story. He grew up, he didn't have a dad. He grew up, with a mom and went to fucking Harvard Law School. Fuck you. Donald Trump's like, wait a minute. He wasn't born here. I'm going to go on TV with my fucking idiot wife who has a fake fucking passport or fucking, and we're going to say, hold on, we're like the paternity fucking president that's going to say that kid that's here on scholarship from whatever, he can't be here because I am the king. I'm going to take it all back. And people let him do that in 2011. And I've been, I considered going on the show, and then I wrote Mark Burnett. I'm like, this fucking dude at NBC. Well, this is outrageous. What are you doing about this guy? And Donald Trump he called my house. We've been together. We've been to Playboy Mansion together. We've been to the Elton John AIDS, pediatric AIDS Oscar thing together with our wives. We went to the Playboy Mansion together. I went to meet his new girlfriend, Karen McDougal, even though his wife was there. So I was a scumbag too, but that was it. I go, you can't do this, because I also thought when Barack Obama became president, I'm like, oh man, I am like, that guy is just like me, because I'm from, his grandparents are from a small Kansas farming town. And so he spent a lot of time there, and Barack Obama's grandpa looked just like my grandpa. And my grandpa had to defend me a lot, because my family was unusual. I didn't have a mom. And if you have an unusual family in a small farming town, people are going to fucking pick on you. So my grandpa had to defend me. I bet his grandpa had to defend him because he was black and he had no dad. So I was like, we are simpatico, me and Barack Obama. What an amazing success story. He's he's the Chicago area. And then Donald Trump's like, nope, he can't be president anymore. He better show me his birth certificate because he wasn't born here. The people are doing
who the fuck are you like that? He has to show you anything. Like,
I'm like, where's his grandpa? His grandpa will beat the fuck out of Donald Trump. Oh, he's dead, and his mom is dead. Otherwise, his mom would have went on TV and goes, "Hey, no, I gave birth to my son," but Donald Trump waits till his mom is dead to do that shit. That's fucking outrageous.
Yeah, but the thing that bothered me most is that, it got. People talked about it because, again, that crowd just latched onto it because they were especially the biggest racist bunch that just hated because they had a black president. Let's just face it. That's why. And the reason why he keeps going after Hillary is because that's his free bird.
Yeah.
He's in a concert, he's got a group of lunatics. He does all his fucking hits, like Dice's nursery rhymes, or that's his thing. They all get riled up, but he never talks about anything. He never moves anything along. But I constantly have noticed that you don't let up on him, and I really do like that. I do think that right now is the time everybody needs to speak out. Were you surprised about Roseanne and how she took his side so much?
Yes, I was very surprised. My Trump tape show came out, I think before, or I don't know, same time as her reboot of her series, and I wasn't quite aware that she was so in the cult. And I kind of started looking at her social media. I'm like, oh fuck, this could be a problem for ABC, man. She is calling the Boston marathon bombing a false flag. She has written to every congressman telling them John McCain was a traitor when he was. Yeah, no, I mean, this is like full Trump. The QAnon. I was like, yeah, they and I started talking to my ex stepdaughter. She's like, yeah, mom is, I don't know what I'm going to do. She's going to keep tweeting this stuff. And so I was like, you should take her phone away. Or I sent her a daughter information to give her boyfriend a phone that goes, when you tweet, it goes to a different server before it goes up. And then you can control her tweeting. Or what I would have done, which is take your phone and throw it in the fucking river. There's a lot of money to be made on the show. Or tell her Donald Trump doesn't do his own tweets. He has a person tweet for him. And you could trick her, believe me, into thinking that she was tweeting something, or believe me, there's things you can do.
But
they let her go.
She said that too. She said when she would write these vile tweets, she's like, I'll just take an Ambien and tweet and then go to sleep. And then I wake up and everybody wants me fired.
That was racist. She was being racist. Her whole group of, and the best thing she did was when she apologized, but she has to own it. There's a backlog of that racism, and she full on. What happened is the weekend she did it, I sensed that was going to happen. And she was going after Chelsea Clinton. And I wrote Jen, I go, there's a picture of a donkey and Chelsea Clinton. I go, yeah, she needs to apologize to her immediately. You could go after Chelsea Clinton, but not, she should stick to Hillary. What the fuck is she doing?
Right.
And I could tell on Tuesday, the writers would be back for season 2. And she told all the writers, hey, we're going to be full on Trump this year. And the show had said, we're going to be less on Trump. So I knew that she's in this quandary because she promised Trump himself on a phone call, I'm going to be all about you. And the show said, yeah, we're going to be less. And so I was like, she's going to fuck it up this weekend. She's going to fuck this up. Like, she's going to do something so.
Is that the Valerie Jarrett tweet?
Yeah. But, the black kids have been called monkeys. It comes down to that. And you got this rich white woman who's worth $100 million. And then she knows better. She fucking knows better. She knows better. The woman I met with Roseanne really knew better. Like, I came from a meatpacking plant. Let me tell you something. I came from Iowa. Our next door neighbor's dog was named the N-word. That's the truth. Those fucking white trash, when that dog got loose, everybody had a black dog. A lot of them were named the N-word where I lived.
Yeah.
So when I met Roseanne, I learned, I was like, whoa, this person is so enlightened. And I started reading her stuff in her first book. I never met anybody like her. So she was so different than, and I really dug that. And so this bullshit is, I don't know, part of it's, and plus she didn't need to do the show. The show got canceled the first time. People don't remember that. After I left the show, the year after I left, she started directing episodes. First of all, 6 years is enough for any show. it's not because I left. It probably is a little bit, but then she's like, I want to prove to everybody that I did everything myself. I'm going to start directing. And then it became super crazy. And then John Goodman quit the show. People don't remember that. And then she did brilliant work, and then the show got canceled, the Roseanne show. And people don't remember that, but it was awful. And then she had to pretend John Goodman came back to life, or I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of happened. And I watched a couple of them, and I can imagine in your case especially, like, you have a place in your heart for the show itself,
Sure.
because you were a part of what it was, and now it's getting rebooted, and let's face it, reboots never do well. But she did go full Trump, but you can tell, I don't know if it's her or the writers, but they intentionally gave her the counterpoint, so the ones that I watched, they were very political, but you were getting both sides of the argument. You were.
I wrote the review for the Hollywood Reporter of the season opening. I don't know if they had me right for the first two. Maybe it was a good review. I thought it was good, and I gave it positive. Because that's what I do, and nobody for the show said, "Hey, it's pretty good." That's just what I'm not the type to, And I thought, well, that's pretty good. They did a pretty good job, and it's complimentary about which that's how I am. And they had both Becky's. I picked the Sarah Chalk. I feel like I'd chosen her. Maybe somebody else helped me, but when it came time with the one Becky, I'll tell you why she left. The first Becky, the head writer of the Jackie Thomas show was a guy named Brad Isaacs. He's 32 years old. I found out he was sleeping with the 16-year-old Becky on the Roseanne show, and I'm like, oh fuck no! And I was so furious, which is, think about now, I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And so I went over to talk to her. I'm like, are you okay? She goes, oh, you're firing him for your show? I go, you fucking right I am. She goes, well, I'm quitting the show. I go, what? I'm telling your parent, I'm going to have him fucking arrested. And she quit the show, which reminded me of my sister when she was 14 and her fucking boyfriend was 22, and she married him instead of having my mom. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah. And so she quit the show. That's why she quit the show. I'm like, this fucking dude. Did you find the second? I fired him, and then I found another guy. Right. First of all, I'm the one that lost the head writer. Not a second Becky for the who had later went on to Scrubs, who looked like her, and then the first one came back. But I'm like, you got to be. Are you? You're what? I heard that. I'm like. And then went over there like, listen, I'm so sorry this is going on. She goes, you fired him? I go, yeah. He's lucky I didn't fucking kill him. She goes, I quit the show. I'm like, no. It's illegal and inappropriate. I'm going to call. She goes, I hate you. And then I'm like, I go, I just gave up my great head writer. And, imagine if that happened now.
I'll forget about it.
She goes, I'm going to college or whatever, Dad. But so that's why the first Becky left, and then Sarah Chalk came on, but the people are like, but that was a big. Nowadays, for any time, it was terrible.
Right.
Fuck that. First of all, rule number one, show business: writers don't date the actor. Okay. That's a rule right now.
And that's the callback. so I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. Tom, we were supposed to do an hour to get a nice.
Thank you guys.
There. We were supposed to do an hour. You gave us almost 2. I really do appreciate it. Didn't feel like it, right?
What do you? Next time we have Sasha in the front chair. And Tom sits
yeah, please do that. Yeah, I heard her chatting with you guys at first, and she was having so much fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have Sasha back solo, and she can do it.
I'd have Lori Levine in the front chair. It's so good to see her.
Yep, sure. But I really appreciate it. I'm gonna play your music video to take us out.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind, though, can you give us a quick ID to play? I'm gonna solo you there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wouldn't mind, you could just say you're listening to the whole podcast as Tom Arnold. You can say whatever else you want.
Say what do I say?
You're listening to the whole podcast. Hey, this is Tom Arnold. You're listening to the whole podcast.
Hey, this is Tom Arnold, and you're listening to the whole podcast.
Perfect. Beautiful. Tom, thank you so much. Sasha, thank you so much.
It's been fun. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay, here's the video. Big Wasabi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Later, motherfuckers.
Okay.
It's Tom Arnold, but call me Big Wasabi. Don't make me send little sushi to your lobby. As my assistant, we are not fucking. Just clarity to your chicken heads is still clucking. End of discussion. Single dad, bottom still sucking. Can't masturbate without interruption. The kid has to eat something. There's quarantine got me fucking. How many times can I clean the kitchen and the oven?
One in the hand is two in the bush. Sushi wasabi out here for the push. Roll with the D-man, you don't eat puff. Yeah, you beat poops like a bitch, don't muff. King to your rook, you better be shook. Stop to the code. Mystery bucks, suburban brother that can steal your toots. Just like a truck, marks on your foot. Like one in the hand is two in the bush. Sushi wasabi out here for the push. Roll with the D-man, you don't eat puff. Yeah, you beat poops like a bitch, don't muff. King to your rook, you better be shook. Stop to the code. Mystery bucks, suburban brother that can steal your toots. Just like a truck, marks on your foot. Like
it's Lil Sushi Mean in the quarantine. Living Big Lebowski's dream. Tandem parking ain't no way to live. So got kicked out the crib. Now I'm one of his kids. It is what it is. Although I fuck with the gummy sack, still got IBS from that. Out cupping L, that's word to Jack. I know how McQueen can second that. Run through Instagram and the whole world snaps. Black Lives Matter, that's a fact. Really haven't seen Wasabi's movies like that. Bet you know I'm on the second push, but it's always
one in the hand is two in the bush. Sushi wasabi out here for the kush. Caught with the D-man, you don't eat cook. Ain't you beat poops like a bitch, don't muff. King to your rook, you better be shook. Stuck to the code. Mystery bucks, suburban brother that can steal your toots. Just like a truck, marks on your foot. Like
Did you do the super bill?
What's a super bill?
This is a super bill.
I don't know what a super bill is.
I think it's something to do with insurance.
Okay, there's security questions. What's your favorite TV show? Is it The Roseanne Show?
Of course not. Try the Honeymooners.
Didn't work.
Try the Jackie Thomas Show.
I think it's The Roseanne Show.
It's definitely not the Roseanne Show.
Yep, it was The Roseanne Show.
That was a pretty good show.
Yeah, okay, next question. What's your wife's maiden name?
Which one?
one in the hand is two in the bush. Sushi wasabi out here for the kush. Roll with the D-man, you don't eat puff. Yeah, you beat poops like a bitch, don't muff. King to your rook, you better be shook. Stop to the code. Mystery bucks, suburban brother that can steal your toots. Just like a truck, marks on your foot. Like one in the hand is two in the bush. Sushi wasabi out here for the kush. Roll with the D-man, you don't eat puff. Ain't you beat poops like a bitch, don't muff. King to your rook, you better be shook. Stop to the code. Mystery bucks, suburban brother that can steal your toots. Just like a truck, marks on your foot. Like
AGP, Tom Arnold, Jax.
Then I jumped into our trampoline, the second floor, and the trampoline went all broke.